This is Trayvis Hunter, and you may know him as the younger brother to current NFL star Travis Hunter. But although Travis is a former Heisman winner and first-round pick, there are a lot of people who believe that Trayvis is a special talent as well, and he might have the potential to be just as great, if not even better, than his big brother. So today, I am putting Trayvis Hunter into College Football 26. Let's see if he can live up to his brother's legacy and establish one for his own, as we follow him on his road to glory. Now at the moment, Trayvis goes to a different high school than his brother did when he was in school, and currently as a sophomore, he is still trying to establish himself as a top-tier player on the field. Now Trayvis came out here in a game against one of his high school rivals, and he was playing pretty well at wide receiver, which was his main position, because early on in this one, he was starting to become a playmaker for this offense by coming up with a catch. And now he was in the foot race to the end zone before barely crossing over the goal line for a score. Trayvis Hunter was having a great impact on this game, and it would not stop there as he was frying up this defense, and he comes up with his second score of the day to help his high school team put away their first game of the season. Trayvis Hunter is starting to get some more attention as he is currently a 3-star recruit, and he is glad that he is finally getting some scholarships at wide receiver, but he wants to see if he might be able to get some at cornerback as well, because what a lot of people don't know is that just like his brother man, Trayvis Hunter plays both ways, and it turns out that he was actually a very solid athlete on defense as well, as he was consistently coming up with plays, and soon he would begin to earn some scholarships as a DB. But as Trayvis had moved forward throughout his high school career, his coaches had really encouraged him to stick with one position. And the truth is, Trayvis truly was a dominant receiver, and he was growing into one of the top guys on the team as a sophomore. On defense though, Trayvis was definitely a little bit more unpolished, and he still had a lot more work to do before he would become an elite prospect. By the end of his sophomore season in high school though, Trayvis was still considered to be a 3-star recruit. There were a lot of teams that just could not get past the fact that he was 5'7", but luckily for Trayvis that would not be for long, as he would end up growing a few inches over the next couple years. And now by the time that he is a senior in high school, he was beginning to become one of the best players in all of high school football. Trayvis Hunter had grown into a top-level wide receiver, and there weren't many people in these ranks that could guard him, which is why by the end of his high school career, he was considered to be a 4-star recruit and was being offered by some of the best schools in the nation. He had options to go to a ton of places around the country and potentially make an impact, and soon it would finally be time for him to decide what school he would choose. And it turns out that his top 3 would end up being Miami, Georgia State, and Colorado. Now this was definitely a tough decision for Trayvis, man. He thought that he might actually head to Miami, but no, it turns out that actually for his college decision, Trayvis Hunter will ultimately decide not to sign with Colorado, as he's throwing that hat out of the way, and it turns out that he was messing around, because for his college decision, he would decide to sign with the Miami Hurricanes. And now that Trayvis is here with Miami, he is finally back in the same state as his older brother, who at this point is going crazy in the NFL, still as a two-way player. As far as Trayvis though, to start his freshman year, he would begin as the 6th-string wide receiver. So he knew that it was definitely going to be a long season of him working his way up, and he was not expecting to get any sort of playing time at all to begin this season. It turns out though that he would, because in the first game of the year with Miami up 31-0, they decided to put the backups in, where Trayvis Hunter is out here coming up with his first catch of his college football career. He was actually showing that he had a little bit of an ability to make a play after the catch, as later on he comes up with another one, but this one goes for a first down. And after a nice couple drives here to end this game, Trayvis would begin his career 1-0 with Miami. They end up smacking FCS Southwest 37-0, and Trayvis has a nice little game going for 3 catches and over 30 yards in his college football debut. He made enough of an impact to have the coaches thinking that he might already deserve to move up the depth chart. They just want to see if he can come out here and really prove that he earned it at practice, and I think it's safe to say that he definitely did. Trayvis Hunter was now the 5th-string wide receiver, and he felt like he was making some good progress already, considering that he was only just a freshman. But although Trayvis did end up getting to play in his first game of the year, that did not mean he would keep getting the same opportunities going forward, as Miami was in some close games, one that they ended up winning at home against USF, and another that was also at home against an in-state rival where they would end up losing to Florida. Apparently, the coaches felt like the offense was not producing enough points and they wanted to make some changes. One of them potentially being Trayvis Hunter moving up the depth chart a little bit further, depending on if he can play well at practice, which he definitely was. And soon he was now moving his way up to the 4th-string receiver. Trayvis Hunter is making a ton of progress here early on in his career, and although he was not getting any playing time here in his next game against Florida State, he was just happy that his team was winning, and he was really hopeful that his team might get to play play more down the road. In the meantime, Trayvis was working extremely hard to improve upon his game. He knew that eventually his time would come, but unfortunately it would not be in the game against Louisville where they would barely win by 7 points. But after another week where this offense had a lackluster performance, the coaches realized that it might be finally time to get Trayvis in the game. He came out here absolutely locked in at practice to prove to the coaches that he deserved to move up to the third string wide receiver. And now Trayvis Hunter was ready to really make an impact for this team. This kid was hyped as he was running out of the tunnel because he knew that this was going to be a game where he begins to create his own legacy. And he was hoping that in the process he could help his team come up with a win at home against Stanford. Now the coaching staff had Trayvis out here early on in the first quarter where he was doing a great job getting open against this zone defense. And even on plays where he was in one-on-one coverage, he was often cooking up his defender and helping his team pick up a first down. Bringing us to a 1st down and 10 where Trayvis was working from the slot before coming up with a catch and saying, "Hey, excuse me," breaking multiple players' ankles as he gets his team down to the 1-yard line. This kid looked like he might already be a problem for opposing defenses as he fries these defenders. And on the very next play, he would be rewarded as he gets open and gets his first touchdown of his college football career. Trayvis Hunter was already making a big impact for this team as he gets them up 7-0 heading into the second quarter. Where at this point, Trayvis already has 10 receptions, and he was about to get his 11th if this pass didn't get tipped. Eventually, though, with less than 2 minutes left in the half, Trayvis was coming up with a catch that put him over 100 yards on the day. He was just torching this Cardinal defense as he continued coming up with short yardage catches to keep the chains moving. Bringing us to a play with around 30 seconds left where Stanford just forgot to guard Trayvis, and this kid was wide open in the end zone for his second touchdown of the day. He is absolutely dominating Stanford with 18 receptions and 150 yards in just the first half. He had this offense moving differently than they had been all season, and he just continued to be great for his team as by the fourth quarter he kept coming up with some big plays before saying hey and picking up some big yardage for his team. Trayvis Hunter was having one of the greatest games in Miami history as he was now going over 200 yards on the day. And at this point, he has finally done enough to put this game away. Miami goes on to win this game by 2 possessions thanks to an immaculate performance by Trayvis Hunter. This kid went for over 200 yards and 2 touchdowns. And as a true freshman receiver, he set the record for the most receptions in Miami and ACC history. Rightfully so, earning himself enough attention to get his first NIL deal, while also earning himself an ACC Offensive Player of the Week. His first one of his career, and after a performance like that, it is absolutely no surprise that the coaches want him to move up to wide receiver 2. They know that if he's playing like this already, they can't imagine what he'll be like in a couple years. But after Trayvis ends up winning this battle, he is absolutely locked in heading into his next game. He knows that this is only the start of something special. He truly believes that he could become one of the top wide receivers in the nation, and he was going to continue to show exactly why heading into his next game on the road against SMU. Now Trayvis came out here on a 3rd down and 7 and fried his opponent up so bad that he didn't even realize he made the catch. By the way, he picked up a first down for his team and had them moving into the red zone before the quarterback threw a pick. A bad one that definitely takes points off the board, and soon Miami would be down 10-3. Their offense was not looking nearly as good as it had been in the previous game, but Trayvis was about to change all that. He came up with a nice catch here to help his team score 3 points before the half, bringing this one to a 6-10 ball game where Miami is getting the ball to Trayvis in different ways and he is making something happen. He picks up a first down for his team to keep this drive going as they get to a 1st and goal. Where on one-on-one coverage, Trayvis was once again frying up this defender, and he's coming up with a big touchdown to take the lead for the Hurricanes, baby. Trayvis Hunter has 10 receptions and 99 yards by the 4th quarter. We're tied at 13. He knows that his team's gonna need him to keep making plays, so he does here on this 2nd down. He gets to over 100 yards on the day, and he's got his team in position to potentially take the lead. It turns out, though, that things would change after this pass was picked off, and now all of a sudden SMU has a ton of momentum on their side, which they would definitely use as they get down the field and take the lead by 7. So now with less than 30 seconds left, Miami needs somebody to help them get downfield and put them in position to win this game, which it looks like Trayvis Hunter was going to be the guy to do that as he helps them get to the 20-yard line. They're going to have to take a shot to the end zone here on this play, but the quarterback throws it underneath. And unfortunately, Miami goes on to lose their 2nd game of the season. They just barely fall to an ACC opponent by 7 points, and this was a game where at the very least Trayvis Hunter played extremely well. this kid was damn near unguardable. And despite the fact that Miami would go on to lose this one, people were looking at Trayvis like he could become the next big thing. He had continued to get some NIL deals, his coaches were now moving him up to the first string wide receiver, and he had continued to create an image for himself as one of the top wide receivers in the nation, as he earned another ACC Offensive Player of the Week. And on top of that, Trayvis truly felt good about his team's chances to win a national championship. He knew that they had what it takes, especially if he keeps playing as well as he had been on offense. But for now, he had to focus on helping his team get back on track as they were heading into their next game at home against Syracuse. Now, on one of the first plays of the game on a 3rd down and 1, Syracuse for some reason was just not guarding Trayvis, and out of nowhere this kid is just wide open. Trayvis Hunter was heading to the end zone for an easy touchdown on this opening possession. He has the Hurricanes going up by 7 points already, and just like that, he has set the tone for this team. Because after getting a stop on defense, this offense just continued to play well as they got the ball to Trayvis Hunter. He helped them get inside the red zone where just one play later they got the ball out to a running back on a screen pass, and he got in the end zone for a score. Miami is already up 2 possessions in this one as they head to the second quarter, where at this point Trayvis is already having an incredible game, but his 10th reception not only puts him at over 140 yards, but it's looking like it might give his team a great chance to score. After a penalty though, they would be pushed to the 18-yard line, where after Trayvis had come up with the catch, he was tackled and then fumbled the ball. And I'm not gonna lie, bro, he kind of looked like he was down, but the refs didn't even want to review it, and eventually by the 4th quarter, this game would be tied at 14. Bringing us to a 3rd down and 1 where Miami was just trying to keep their drive alive, and a block by Trayvis Hunter on this screen pass would do it, as this sprung a receiver loose to get to the end zone for a touchdown and take the lead back in the 4th quarter. Trayvis Hunter was making plays even without the ball in his hands, and he helped make a play that got this one tied with less than 2 minutes left. Where at this point, this Miami quarterback knows that there's only one guy that they want to throw to, and it's Trayvis Hunter. He's coming up with a play to put his team past the 50, and he's damn near already got them in field goal range. All it would take would be for one more reception that unfortunately was not a first down, but luckily was enough to put this game away. Miami would barely escape this game 24-10, and they likely would not have been able to get this done without a great performance from Trayvis Hunter. He went for another 200-yard day off of 15 receptions, and it was actually after this performance where people began to recognize that Trayvis Hunter, well, he might actually be an even better receiver than Travis Hunter. In the back of Travis's mind though, he still knew that he had a long way to go before he could fully prove that. He was just going to take it game by game, but for now, he felt pretty confident heading into his next one, where Miami was going to be back at home to face off against NC State. Now, one thing Trayvis is still looking to clean up is his route running, because on this play he rounds his out off and it results in a pick that all of a sudden had the potential to, and yeah, that is going all the way back to the crib for a touchdown to tie this game up at 7 after NC State had already thrown a pick 6 of their own. At some point in this game though, one of these offenses were going to have to lock in, and it turns out that Trayvis Hunter will be the guy to get this Miami one going. He brought them inside goal-to-goal territory where a couple plays later, he was out there throwing a nice block to help his team get in the end zone for a score. Miami was now up 7 in this one heading into the second half, where on a 2nd down and 6, Trayvis was doing a great job getting open within the zone and taking a hit while holding onto the ball to pick up this first down. He had his team up by 2 possessions here in the 4th quarter, where at this point NC State knows that they can't guard him in man coverage, so they try to go to zone, and that is clearly not working well either. Trayvis Hunter is just continuously wide open as he helps his team get back down to the goal line. We're on 3rd down and 1, this team just runs it in for another touchdown, and it looks like Miami is now moving up to 8-2 on the year. The Hurricanes dominate this game down the stretch thanks to another big performance from Trayvis Hunter. He almost goes for another 200-yard day, and it honestly is just impressive to see how impactful this kid can be already. He still has to come out here and put some more weight on and develop a lot more of his skills, but even then it still looks like he's ready to dominate the ACC and potentially the entirety of college football. And understandably so, teams were definitely not looking forward to facing him either, especially their next opponent as they head on the road to face off against Virginia Tech. Now, it took a little while for Trayvis Hunter to get going in this one, but eventually he was frying up this defense. With less than a minute left in the first half, they even tried to double cover him, but that still did not work as he came up with the catch, and he got his team in position to score down in goal-to-goal territory, which they did a few plays later to take the lead. Bringing us here to the 3rd quarter on a 2nd down and 7, where this offense had identified the one-on-one coverage, and they knew that they were going to try to get the ball to Trayvis, who had fried his defender, and out of nowhere Trayvis Hunter had the entire field ahead of him to just glide into the end zone for another touchdown on his season. This kid was damn near unguardable as he helps extend his team's lead. a lead that they would maintain heading into the fourth quarter, where after Trayvis comes up with a catch to put his team back in scoring range, it turns out that he had just done enough to help his team put this game away. Miami goes on to win this rivalry game by 2 possessions, and by now it is just very clear that Miami has a new superstar in their receiving room, because Trayvis Hunter has now gone for multiple 100+ yard games, with some of them being for 200 yards. The kid is a nuisance to guard for opposing defenses, and the funny thing is that he's still only just getting better. He was consistently working on his skills even heading into the final game of the season, where Miami was now looking to potentially punch their ticket to the ACC championship game if they could take down another conference opponent in the Pittsburgh Panthers. Now, this offense did not get the ball to the end of the first quarter, but when they did, they started moving downfield immediately. They would get to a 4th down and 2 where they tried to keep this drive alive before the running back fumbled the ball, and luckily it was picked up by an offensive lineman. Miami definitely had somebody looking out for him on this play because that keeps their drive alive, and he brought Miami down inside goal-to-goal territory. They were hoping that they might be able to put up a touchdown here down at the 1-yard line, but they get stuffed, and this one is now a 3-0 ball game by the 3rd quarter. But it seems like Trayvis Hunter was really out here trying to change that as he picks up a big first down for his guy. Trayvis was able to keep these chains moving not only just once, but multiple times throughout this drive. It was mostly because of him that they got down to a 3rd and goal, where once again in man coverage, Trayvis was cooking his defender, and he's coming up with another touchdown on his season, scoring some points that puts his team up by 2 possessions here heading into the 4th quarter, where with less than 2 minutes left, Miami has this one completely under control. And it looks like they've done enough to end the season 10-2 on the year. Miami shuts out Pittsburgh and wins this one by 13, and it was no surprise here that Trayvis Hunter had a big part in why they were able to get the job done. He had another immaculate game, and he had an even better regular season. He only appeared in a handful of games, and he still went for over 1,000 yards, leading the next player in the receiving room by over 700 yards. Miami hasn't seen a receiver like this in a long time. He is an outstanding player that has an impact on every single game he's played so far this season. Unfortunately for Miami, though, they would not be able to get a chance to play in an extra game in the conference championship, because somehow Duke is 11-1 going crazy, okay? Either way, Trayvis Hunter went on to be recognized as a 2nd-team All-ACC, a freshman All-ACC, and a freshman All-American, all while leading Miami to their first ever appearance in the college football playoffs. Trayvis Hunter was the truth, and I really can't blame anybody for believing that he had potential to be one of the next great Miami Hurricanes. There is a long line of NFL players that come from this school, and Trayvis Hunter was really hoping that one day he could become another one. But he knows the best way to do that, though, is by helping his team get to the next round of the playoffs. He truly believes that his team might have a chance to win a national championship, but all that starts right here in this first round as they will be at home, facing off against Texas Tech. Now, this game would not start out great for Miami as this pass was picked off, and this one has potential to go all the way to the crib, but it gets stopped at the 1-yard line, which basically all that did was just save the quarterback from throwing a pick six, because Miami would still find themselves down 14-0. This was a horrendous start to the game, but Trayvis Hunter was helping to turn things around for his team as he kept the chains moving on this 3rd down. He brought them down inside goal-to-goal territory where he came up with another catch to inch them closer to the goal line. And one play later, they would finally capitalize as they came up with the score to cut this deficit down to 7 points. Bringing us here to the 3rd quarter where Miami is back down by 2 possessions, but Trayvis Hunter was doing everything in his power to change that. He was picking up multiple first downs for his team all throughout this quarter, including a big play here that moves them into scoring range. They had a chance to get back in this game with a score here, and it looks like Trayvis might be able to help them do it after coming up with a catch and securing it in the end zone for a touchdown to put Miami down by 3 points. They are coming back in this game, and they have a real chance at winning it still down by 3 in the 4th quarter. We're on a 3rd down and 7. Trayvis Hunter was once again coming up big for his team and moving the chains to help keep this drive alive. With 2 minutes left of this game, Trayvis ends up coming up with a catch that puts him over 150 yards on the day and brings his team well into field goal range. Miami now had a chance to tie this game up or take the lead, but after a 3rd down and 6 where Trayvis was just barely not able to pick up the first down, they decide not to go for it and instead settle for 3, which ends up looking like a terrible mistake because Texas Tech would score a field goal with less than 20 seconds left. And now with no timeouts left, Miami had to find a way to get downfield and get themselves a chance to tie this game up. Unfortunately, it seems like this offense was just not prepared for this situation, and after running out of time to make a play, this would officially put an end to Trayvis Hunter's freshman season. Miami would fall in this one to Texas Tech by 3 points, losing in the first round of the playoffs at home, which is already bad enough. But on top of that, Trayvis Hunter had another excellent performance wasted. This kid has gone for 7 straight 100+ yard games, with many of them being over 150 yards and some of them being 200. It's just incredible what he had been able to do this season, especially since he's only a freshman. He went on to break multiple Miami single-season records, and although the Hurricanes did not go on to win the national championship, they were definitely happy that they had a new young star who was towards the top of the nation in receiving, as Trayvis Hunter would end the year with 93 receptions, over 1,200 yards, and 8 touchdowns. And in the process, he set the single-game ACC record for receptions, while also setting the Miami record for receptions and receiving yards in a season. At this point though, after an incredible year, Trayvis has no idea whether or not he wants to stay at Miami, or check out some of the options that he might have through the transfer portal. He was hoping that wherever he played next year, he would have a chance to really establish himself as the best receiver in the nation. So heading into his sophomore season, Trayvis was definitely going to have a big decision to make, but I'll leave that decision up to you guys. If you want to see a part 2 of Trayvis Hunter in college football, be sure to get this video to 1,000 likes and subscribe to the channel down below. Also be sure to comment down below what else you guys want to see next, and YouTube thinks you'll like one of these other stories until the next one comes out. If you got to this point in the video, just know that I appreciate you more than you'll ever know. I hope you all have a great rest of your week, and other than that, I'm gonna catch you guys next time.